Good morning, everyone. Welcome here in Lucca, not in Pisa. My name is Chiara Cappelli. I am a Vice Rector for Technology Transfer at the Scuola Normale Superiore, which is based in Pisa, but we have decided to organize this event as a final day of a previous event that we was running yesterday and was called the JoTTO Fair, where the system of the School of Excellence, let's say in the Italian system, showcase their innovation ideas from a different level, I would say, from something that is pretty new and was born only probably very recently to up to something that is instead already a startup company, but was born out of the university environment. So today we have the final stage, let's say, of this competition that is organized as part of EELISA UNFOLDS. What is EELISA UNFOLDS? Is we have initiative of European universities shared among us, Scuola Superiore Sant'Anna in Pisa, and other partners that you will see and you see in the slide. And this European University Alliance that is basically something that is, Erasmus Plus initiative. And as a result of EELISA Erasmus Plus initiative, we have also other connected initiatives, and one is EELISA Unfolds, which is a project that is funded by the European Institute of Technology for innovation and specifically entrepreneurship, and specifically targeted to our students. So we have organized this final final phase of the competition, where each of the partners of EELISA have selected one of their startups that has already won local, national, or more local competition. Then we have 5 startups that we will see today. We should have had another one, but unfortunately the person could not make it. And I hope that this day will not be only something as a showcase, but also some initiative where the startup can have real also discussion with the jury, and then have also something to improve as a result of this discussion and then the outcome of the final competition. Now I leave the stage to Pasquale Antonio Pingue, that will give you some other details about probably the project and the today program. And thank you again for being here. Hope you will enjoy this morning. Thank you.
So, good morning to everyone, and let me thank the startup for coming. We have one startup for Sant'Anna that probably will be not here because the startup, she had a problem during the night with the virus flu, and I'm very sorry for that. So at the end we have 4 startups, a jury, and I would like to thank all the components of the jury for coming. As said by Professor Cappelli, the main target of this day is to have an informal discussion. So it will be a championship. So at the end of the story, we will have a winner. And but the most important lesson we can learn today is to have a frankly and informal discussion with the jury and about the innovation. So I invite the component of the jury to have a question. I invite the startup to explain their innovation ideas in terms of originality, market, business, and the future they have they want to have for their innovation ideas. We have 4 startups at the end, so we have 10 minutes for each one. And I will start with the startup coming from NPC and Hollis. So, are you ready? Great. Probably there is some, okay, it should work. Everything's fine. It should be, yeah, let's check.
I think it's turned off on the...
Yeah, it's probably off. Yeah, great. So, the stage is yours.
Thank you. Does it work? Let's just do a quick check. Maybe it doesn't have battery. Okay, it's fine. I will use... Just putting my timer. Okay, good. Should I start? Yeah. Everything's set up. Cool. So hi, everyone. I'm going to talk about sustainability and more specifically about a platform that's going to change the way brands account for this issue. Every year, there is over 50 million new products that are launched worldwide. Products like your shirt, the latest phone, a fresh can of soda, but products that account for 60% of global environmental impacts. This pushed France and the EU to create new regulations that will force all brands to conduct life cycle assessments. In short, for each of the products, they will have to look at the entire supply chain, from raw material all the way to elimination, and thus being able to convince us consumers with a reliable eco-score and also identify in the supply chains different leverage for improvement. But for the last 30 years, these studies could only be carried out by experts, which could cost up to 100k euro per product and take close to a year. So how do we change that? How do we tackle sustainability with our team of impact-driven entrepreneurs? We've created Hollis. Hollis is a collaborative and AI-powered LC and eco-design platform designed for non-experts to make sure that they can calculate the impacts of all of the products in a fraction of the time and for relevant cost. It only takes 3 simple steps: quantify, improve, and communicate. Let's see how it plays out on the platform. Starting on our analysis, they can select from a variety of templates which have been approved by the regulations. They have access to a pre-modeled version of the supply chain, from raw materials to elimination, and they can customize it to suit their product. Here, for this shirt, they will, for instance, display that the cotton yarn is from India and use our AI to customize the transport. We have access to tens of thousands of data entries. So for fabric dyeing, we can select a very efficient wastewater treatment, and we can even go further by asking the supplier to give us its water consumptions directly. Results are calculated in real time and can be seen on this dashboard. As you can see, we still have a C eco-score, and we also account for social impact to make sure that we do sustainability as a whole. Let's move now to the improvement phase. We can show which path of this analysis has the most impact, and using our eco-design interface, have relevant suggestions for this specific step. Here, instead of cotton yarn, we could use kapok fiber. We can select it, and it will automatically update the LCA. We could also do other strategies, but now let's communicate. We'll select the relevant regulation and make sure that we meet the different obligations. From there, we can create an eco-passport which will be available to consumers And as you can see, our eco-design efforts paid off, and we have now a B eco-score. This is a path that any brand could take: textile, food, construction, electronics. It works by basing itself off robust data from standardized databases on all the way to supplier-specific data. Our platform has been certified to make sure that we account for the right steps of the regulations, and we can interact with different legal texts, from the ISO 14044 norm all the way to very specific local regulations. And this is improved thanks to AI. We have developed different algorithms that are blended into the platform to help with supplier data extraction, data and modeling verification, and eco-design optimization. And these have already received different prices for their efficiency. Regarding our team, we blend different skills from business, design, innovation, all the way to computer science and AI. We have also mentors that help with our development, and we are proud to have been selected as part of the 40 best startup of Station F, the world's largest startup campus. We also work alongside the EU and French environmental agencies. We created this software by basing ourselves on the feedback of over 250 companies from different industries and from different sizes. This will help us to go from the textile market in 2023 all the way to all consumer goods by 2025, with an overall market estimated to be at least 17.3 billion euros with a bottom-up approach. Our offer is a SaaS software with different tiers of subscriptions for companies and also different tiers for suppliers, experts, and academic to make sure that we can train the next generation to conduct these types of assessments. We have already 8 confirmed clients that are paying for the access of the software, and over 1,000 goods were evaluated on our platform in the last 3 months. And the feedback so far is excellent, from very small companies all the way to large international groups. Regarding our development pipeline, we have now our stable and verified version, and we will look forward to expanding it with a dedicated factory interface. Continuous improvement will go on, and we will add new databases as they become available. We also have at heart to conduct different audits in terms of security and also in terms of environment. Regarding recruitment, we should reach a team of 12 people by March, and we'll continue to expand to make sure that we can offer our service to even more clients. This is funded by different prizes and competitions we have won so far and our first beta subscriptions, and we will continue with our different tiers that we have already shared with you, and also 2 funding rounds, one that we're in the process of closing, and another one which will come by mid-2024. So becoming an ELISA champion for us will allow us to gain in legitimacy for our clients. It will also enable to improve the LCA methods by having more collaborations with research institutes, and continue to democratize LCA by showing schools, like the 2 that we already have as clients, that they can use our platform to train their students. So to sum it up, we allow all teams to collaborate to assess efficiently all of their projects and comply with regulations. Our SaaS model helps to reduce cost and move on from a very local approach to continuous improvement. And I've said that global consumer goods impacts average to 60%. There's a 20% impact reduction by conducting LCA, so overall we have a potential of 12% global impact reduction. With Hollis, we automate LCAs to move towards more responsible production and consumption. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Martin. So, time for the question.
Unique in the market so far?
Yeah, so I had a slide for that, but I forgot to add it to this presentation. So yes, we do have competition. We have competitions that's more focused on 2 aspects. Either consultants that we are moving on to replace for the repetitive task, and then have them as users of the platform for tasks where there is a need for their expertise. And then we have platforms that are similar to ours, but to simplify the experience, they simplify the level of detail for the LCA by doing questionnaires or surveys. This has very poor feedback from users because they cannot account for all of their sustainability initiatives. Whereas with our platform, since it's a graph modeling, you can add a block and just mention whatever you want. So for now, compared to the competitions, we have already won several markets where companies that were maybe 5 years old, 10 years old, lost to us, which is less than a year old.
Okay.
In the slide in which you showed the budget and your idea of growth, do you have an estimation of the potential cost you will incur in?
Of the potential cost?
Cost. Yes, you reported to hire people to grow another database, and that's it in 2 years. I think that you are getting 1 million and you expect to get 10 million of financing in 2 years.
Yeah.
If I remember.
Yeah.
But all the people as recruiting and all the ideas, do you have an estimation? You make something like an idea? Do you have an idea of cost of people? You
Yes.
make research?
Of course, yeah. So because we're in the funding round, we obviously quantified how much money we need for which type of people and which level of seniority. All of the tasks in our development pipeline have been assessed in terms of hours needed to get the function in the platform. So for now, we are actually already past break-even. We are making more money even accounting for the salaries that we should give ourselves, even though we are not, and we would rather give it to employees. And so in total, if we look at it's a bit hard because recruitment is phased out, but globally it's an envelope of 200K per year, increasing, so it will be a bit less the first year, and then as we move on, obviously it's more. And we already, in just 2 months, we have signed 60K, and if we phase it out on the length of the contracts, and assuming that people will stay, it's already over 100K recurring revenue.
Got it, thanks.
Hi, congratulations for the presentation. Just to very more technical question to better understand. Would you be able to add also the cost analysis, I mean LCA cost, to this model to increase your value proposition?
Yeah, so I didn't mention it, but in the platform at the top right of the interface, you have the cost of your good. And so according to the options that you take, you have the environmental score, but you also have the cost because we know that companies will make decisions based on those two. So it's completely something we do. We already have a huge database which has both environmental impacts and cost per data entry.
Okay, and the other question is, generally companies are performing LCA, and you're right, it's very costly, also because they are taking real data from their process. So they are the consultants are going there, measuring, gathering data and analyzing. So there is, you are, if I understood well, you are skipping the gathering of the real data, is right?
Yeah.
So the company will have a kind of simulation of the LCCA on the process and product. Is it right?
No, we have two different approaches that are made possible with the platform. Either you do a first rough modeling using generic data from databases. And so this will allow you to get very quick results, and that's enough in the beginning of a project to make like the big decisions. And then as you go on, as the project is being more concrete, then you would add data that are specific to suppliers. And that's why also I mentioned that we went to work on the factory interface now. We already have data from suppliers that's inputted, and our LCAs are more complex and more trustworthy than the one done by expert because we gain so much time in terms of the user friendliness.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. First of all, congratulations for your presentation.
I have basically two questions. One is related to the integration with the informative systems and management systems of the companies. I mean, I see you say factory interface. Do you mean something like integration with SAP or other management system of the company? How do you plan to do that? And the other question is about the competitors. I had the same question of the first one, but let me further elaborate. At a certain point you said we wanted to democratize LCA. However, you have a plan for subscription. So you may, of course, you want to make revenues, you make your customer paying for this. While there are initiatives that are open access, open source, so they could claim more, they do democratization in principle, no? Like OpenLCA and so on. So can you comment on this?
Yes, of course. So to go back to your first question, which was, you mentioned competition, and then you mentioned... Yes, integration. So integration, we have already done it. We have a very large client working on SAP, and they have an API, so it's so we obviously don't want to have double the time where you enter in Holisons and you enter in SAP or vice versa. So we did a proper integration and we're testing it with them. We know that there are other ERPs, other PLMs, and we'll add them as we go on. We didn't find technical difficulties for the moment, so we think it's fine.
Sorry, I can ask a question in this respect. So your exit strategy, because when you are doing a startup, you may also have an exit. An exit could be you sell the company, or you are being acquired by SAP, as an example. So what do you plan? So you plan to do an exit to sell your whole package to a big company which produces software for IT management, ERM, and so on, or you want to be independent and sell your software as a package transversal to the different management software?
We want to stay as independent as possible. If we have an offer which we cannot refuse, then refusing it means that they will copy or they will do something that will hinder our development. We will obviously go for it. But as long as we can stay independent, we will push our product as far as possible. Then regarding your last questions, compared to OpenLCA, which is an open source software, yes, there are other alternatives, but in terms of user friendliness, it also comes at a cost. If I'm sure you're using a lot of products in your daily life and you will not be using the open source simply because it's not as well done, and you rather pay to get more resources and more efficiency in your work. So we know that there are other softwares which can do other things for free, but for the moment we are addressing non-experts, and for non-experts it's very clear they don't want to use OpenLCA because it's too complicated.
Okay, Virginia.
Hi, very nice talk, congratulations. I have a more technical question, curiosity more. Your platform, how much rely on artificial intelligence and how much in hard-coded algorithms? I mean, to use artificial intelligence, usually you need the big databases for training or whatever, and how you, let's say, are sure that the results that came out from this are somehow similar to what a traditional consultant can provide? Thanks.
Excellent question. So to us, there were two things that we improved. There was the ergonomics, and then there was the efficiency through AI. AI is really used as a tool. If I go back to my slide, it's not used to create a full assessment as one single thing. It's used to go in specific steps and have more impact. So if you think about supplier data extraction, we're using NLP, that means collecting invoices, collecting certificates from labels, and getting directly the data. So this is relying on a large database, indeed, the database of invoices and certificates, which is not environmental data. We never plan to interpolate data from the environment simply because regulations won't allow it. And all of the other algorithms are based on scarce data. So it's not a deep learning, it's a different family, and I could go if you want more in details. but it's not, you can do AI without doing ML.
Paolo?
Congratulations, very nice speech. I'd like to know what kind of technical improvement have you planned for the next year to scale up in the market? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for this question. So first one is cybersecurity. We are working with the logistical chains, supply chain of companies. It's very sensitive data. So we are looking to the ISO norm to make sure that we are compliant in cybersecurity, and this is a development that we are doing as of today. Well, not me, but my co-founder is working on it. And then all the developments will be regarding improvement in friendliness. So there are some different aspects where we can interact more efficiently. It's detecting some of the data and being able to predict what comes next, or it's making sure that when you do it for one regulation, you don't have to do it over again for another regulations, that we have a main database and then all of the relevant databases for each regulation, which will be selecting according to your needs. So these are developments that we are doing in the coming months. And this is the main ones. Obviously, since there's continuous improvement on different features, we have a lot of feedback from our users, which is overall very good, but there is still room for improvements, and we are working on that.
Okay. Are there other questions? If not the case, so thank you again, Martin.
Thank you so much.
So, the next one will be the Scuola Normale startup. It's called PISA. Let me... Il mouse è sparito. Ah, ok. Dovrebbe essere questa qui. Bene.
Posso iniziare? Sì. Good morning to everyone. My name is Gabriele Ugolini, and I'm presenting here PISA Biotech, which is a business proposal that originated from academic research in BioSNS. That is the biology lab of the Scuola Normale Superiore, directed by Professor Antonino Cattaneo. So our project responds to a clear medical need, which corresponds to an important technical problem to be solved. There is a number of pathologies that originate from individual post-translational modifications of proteins, PTMs, like for instance acetylation or phosphorylations, and these pathologies cannot be treated with currently available drugs. To cut the long story short, I have to explain to you what PTMs are. They can be considered small molecular entities added to proteins at the end of the translation process. The very same protein displays very different functions due to different PTMs, and some of these PTMs are responsible for pathological functions. So ideally, we would like to target the PTM variant which is associated with the pathological function. But this level of selectivity cannot be reached with current technologies. In fact, no drug approved so far is directed against a specific PTM of the corresponding target protein. So our patented technology platform called PISA, which stands for Post-Translational Intracellular Silencing Antibodies, is specifically designed to solve the problem. In fact, starting from proprietary libraries and thanks to our novel instance selection method, this platform enables us to select antibody domains against native PTM proteins directly in cell. And the intracellular antibodies we obtained are in fact optimized for functional interference with the intracellular PTM targets. So our business idea is to develop new generation biotherapeutics based on patented PISA technology and all new IP applications protecting every derived product. And the third pillar of this company would be our unique know-how around interbodies, including proprietary libraries from which we start the selections. Our products would be directed against PTMs or particular conformations of the proteins. They will be used in terms of administration mode as gene therapy products for subcellular pharmacology, and the clinical area of interest would be neurodegeneration, and particular tauopathies, a category of neurodegenerative diseases, including AD, Alzheimer's disease. Although we believe that the value of the technology platform goes well beyond the initial therapeutic focus. In fact, the way of the selection method is protected in the European patent granted in 2021, virtually enables its extension to any type of PTM protein. So our first lead in pipeline is a therapeutic antibody, anti-phospho-tau, addressing tau protein pathology in progressive supranuclear palsy, PSP. This is a rare tauopathy for which there is no effective treatment. Hyperphosphorylated tau protein is in fact prone to aggregation and formation of the so-called tangles, one of the main histopathological hallmarks of tauopathies, including AD, including Alzheimer's disease. And we believe that an intracellular antibody, anti-phospho-tau, could be used to remove pathological phospho-tau from inside the cell, sparing non-phosphorylated normal tau, which is important for physiological functions. We intend to pursue the first clinical proof of concept in man for PSP to open the door to the larger market of tauopathies, including AD. The global tauopathies market, excluding Alzheimer's disease, is now estimated to be worth over $800 million dollars, and it is expected to grow up substantially in the forthcoming years. Of course, there will be a great upside with AD, because the AD market is 4-5 times bigger than the markets of remaining tauopathies. We would intend to develop our own products up to the end of regulatory preclinics or up to the end of an early clinical phase, to license them out or to sell them to pharma companies afterwards. We believe that an initial investment of €1 million would be sufficient to reach the first in vivo proof of concept for the very first lead in development. After that, a second tranche of €5 million would be necessary for additional preclinical testing and CMC studies before IND filing. And in order to support GMP manufacturing underlying regulatory preclinics and early clinical phase, we will then need a third tranche of financement around €10 million. For early investors, we foresee two possible way outs. The first one is around 5 years after the beginning of activities, when the first product has completed regulatory preclinics and is ready for clinical development. The other one would be a few years later, 7, 8, 9 years after the beginning of activities, after reaching the first POC, the first proof of concept in man. It is important to underline that for therapeutic areas other than neurodegeneration, which is our initial therapeutic focus, PISA technology would be available on a license basis for research agreements with pharma companies. Few words about the team. I am a neurobiologist, and I have long experience in the area of research and development, especially in private companies. My colleague Simonetta Lisi is a researcher with long experience in biochemistry and molecular biology. She has been involved in developing PISA technology since the very beginning. She's now responsible for technology applications in BioSNS. And last but not least, Professor Antonino Cattaneo. He has always been interested in molecular biology of neurodegenerative diseases, but more important is he has been an absolute forerunner in advancing the idea of using antibody as genes for protein function interference. And like me, he has direct knowledge of the biotech world. In fact, he was the founder and CSO of Leyland Genomics, spin-off of International School for Advanced Studies in Trieste. So this is just a recap slide. Just want to add that the procedure to be recognized as spin-off inside the Scuola Normale Superiore is already started, and we envisage incorporation by the third quarter of this year. So this is our contacts. Thank you very much for your attention.
Thank you very much for your talk, for sharing your idea with us. I have a question related to the fact that you clarified that you are addressing a rare disease. Is this correct? True?
Yes.
So, in this respect, according to my knowledge, I would like to ask your comment on this topic. Typically, pharma tech companies avoid producing solutions, unfortunately, I would say, for rare disease because this is not profitable. But maybe if you are the only one on that disease, you may also have a break-even. But I would like you to elaborate on this. So what is your model in consideration of the fact that you are addressing a rare disease?
Thank you for your question, because it allows me to clarify something that I was not able to explain if you are asking me these questions. Because yes, we have chosen PSP, which is a rare disease. It is defined as orphan disease by both FDA and EMA, just for the first proof of concept in man for our product. But we are looking at the global tauopathies market, which is 30 times bigger than that of PSP. And I mean, as a final thought, we are thinking about Alzheimer's disease, which of course accounts for 2/3 of neurodegeneration cases over 65. So this is, I mean, our view. It's when you talk to investors, you can't. It's very difficult to speak about Alzheimer's disease the first time, because the Alzheimer's disease world knew 30 years of failures in terms of clinical development. So I mean, you need first a proof of concept in a rare disease or an orphan disease. Yeah.
To a larger domain.
Exactly, because I mean, just talking about the very first product, which is antiphospho-tau, I mean, the target is shared, is common to all these tauopathies, including Alzheimer's disease. So you can think that, I mean, the very first product can be used for tauopathies in general. I mean,
There's one.
Thanks a lot. Congratulations. We have just a question on. We saw some numbers of potential cost: 1 million, 5 million, and 10 million for the third stage. Yes. So we are up to 20 million. but it's a huge amount, obviously,
Yes.
and we are a little bit out of scale of venture capital, and it's more like a private equity investment. Do you have an idea of a potential investor, and which is your strategy in order to attract the market, in order to retrieve such a huge amount?
Yeah,
And also, sorry, timing, because I saw it's a
Yes.
different scale one after the other, but at the end, after this, how do you plan to exit? I think that which is your strategy at the end?
Thank you very much for your question. Thank you very much. So yes, we are already talking to several possible investors, and our BP hypothesis changed a lot during the last month, also due to the to the feedback by these possible investors. What we plan here is to ask for money to reach the first POC demand for the very first product. So now we are asking for 1 million euros. Then, you have two milestones. One is the POC itself. The other one is the choice of the vector, of the viral vector that you have to use for clinical studies. And then you ask for the second tranche of money. At that point, there is already an exit point for investors. After the first two rounds. And if I have to think an exit point for us, for the startups, the most common exit strategy in this case, for this kind of companies, for biotech companies, is that you are acquired by a bigger company or by a pharma company that is interested in at least one of your products. And we have, this model is well consolidated in the biotech market. For instance, a product like our first product would have a first value inflection point at the moment you reach IND filing. Very recent agreements for similar products. If I have to give a conservative estimate of the value for products that are around 30-40 million euros. And then if you reach the end of the first, of the early clinical phase, when you reach the first proof of concept in man, you can have, you have in your hands an asset that has a value around 300 million of euros, for instance. But these are numbers, figures based on recent agreements that you, yes, yeah.
Buyer of this product, and normally they do not perform research and development, and they directly purchase people and companies that do this. But my question is, at the first stage, the 1 million, in order to start, the first step is there a business plan in order to attract potential investor? How do you plan to gather such amount? I do not talk about the 5 million or the 10 million after, but for the step one.
Yes, there is a basic plan that we are already discussing with possible investors. We have 3-4 at the moment. Probably more than one investor will come in to help us with this the very first million. Yes, I think so. But
Other question? Okay, it's not the case. Thank you again, Gabriele. Valentin, is your turn.
So, the startup from UPB and should be, is this one? Yeah.
Stage is yours.
So, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Valentin Boicea, and I will be presenting today a business proposal which originated in our research carried out at the University Polytechnica of Bucharest. So I'm an associate professor with the Department of Electrical Power System of the Faculty of Energy Engineering. Now, our product, which is called I4, it is in fact a product dedicated to time series forecasting based on artificial intelligence. Of course, that coming from the power engineering faculty, we chose as a reference market the power engineering market. The product itself has two versions. In one version, we use only a single input parameter, and these are the historical loads that have been consumed. And within a second version of the same product, we use more than one parameter. So here we could add, for example, the temperatures and the price of the energy. The same is valid also for the natural gas. What is important is that both versions exhibit at least 90% accuracy as far as the forecast is concerned. And the second version, which uses more than one input parameter, exhibit also beyond 99% in accuracy. Now, what we are currently doing is to work together with a French company who possesses also an office in Bucharest of 60 people in order to implement this software application and to offer it as a software as a service. What is even more important is that compared to our competition, we can deliver this product in both versions to both final clients and the utility companies alike. On the other hand, we carry out this load forecast using the price which at present is not done by any other major company active in this field. So most of the mathematical models, I would say they are based on statistical algorithms, and from this point of view, they are limited as far as the number of the input algorithms, of the input parameters is concerned. So most of them, in best of cases, use a maximum of 2 input parameters. Now, in order to have a better idea of what this product can do, I chose as an example the production of electrical energy for the year 2019 for Italy, Germany, and Romania. You can see the figures here on the left-hand side graph. So what we are offering is in fact a product which is in average 10% better than the products of our competitors. Using this kind of product would have achieved savings in billions of euro of almost 7 billions for Italy, almost 21 billions for Germany, and almost 1 billion euro for Romania. Money that otherwise could have been very easily directed towards other key sectors of the power engineering, like maintenance, purchasing new equipment, or grid development, which is very important. Now, these are the prices I have used in order to carry out this calculation. And now, as far as the business plan is concerned, here we have some key numbers. So as far as the development of the single input basic version of this product regards, we have a development time of 2.5 months. For the other product, which uses a neural network with multiple inputs, we have no less than 7 months. The estimated cost of development for the basic version would be 100,000 euro. For the neural network that uses more than one input, we will have
200,000 euro. So in this first stage, the key performance indicators will be classical, so the number of actual clients, number of potential clients, and revenues. And when we calculated the break-even point, it is estimated that this will cover revenue, will cover cost, and offers also a small margin of profit between 5 to 10%. Now, here we have two actual forecasts that have been carried out. On the left-hand side, we have in blue the actual consumption, and in red we have the forecast. In this case, the accuracy was 90%. On the right-hand side, we have the performance of the neural network using more than one input. In this case, we use the data of the national power system in Romania, and in this case, the accuracy was of 99.2%. So what we have obtained here, we intend to publish in an important research journal, and that is why I didn't give all the details on this image. At the same time, I can tell you that we have also published a patent application which was filed by UPB, by the University Polytechnica of Bucharest, using this method of forecasting. Now, a few words about the team. I am the coordinator, you know me already. I am an associate professor, as said, at the Department of Electrical Power System. Then our marketing director comes from Germany. He is currently an employee in a multinational company based in Bucharest, but in the past he worked also as a project manager and business developer for 5 years at Airbus Defence and Space. And finally, we have a PhD student who is pursuing his PhD studies at the University St. Pölten in Austria, and who 10 years ago has been awarded a prize by NASA for having developed a project of a space station. Practically here in this picture, he is giving an interview for one of our national TV stations. So, what we want is funding of 500,000 euros for 1 year in order to develop the product, to expand its functionalities, and also to increase the number of our team members, and also to obtain a bigger market share. So, this being said, I thank you very much for your attention, and I'm looking forward to hearing your questions.
Thank you very much. First question here.
Hi, good morning, and thanks for your presentation.
Thank you.
I have 2 questions and one suggestion.
Yeah, of course.
So the first question is, did you study the real market need of this application, of this product? How big it is, could be the market, and who will be interested to buy the product and why?
So, in the first phase, the product will be bought by final clients because it will increase their awareness as far as their behavior regarding consumption is regarded. And in order to achieve better costs as far as the power invoice is concerned. But in the end, after the product will become better known, I'm sure that it will be bought also by the utilities companies in order to achieve those savings I was talking about.
But how they can achieve the savings? Meaning, I understood, as far as I understood, the product is forecasting.
Forecasting, yeah.
It's just forecasting,
yeah.
right?
Yeah, but good forecast, precise forecast could reduce the amount of dissipated energy. Practically, all these billions of euros practically now are being lost using forecasting based only on statistical algorithms. So because if you here use a forecasting algorithm which has 80% of accuracy, as for example General Electric offers, all these amounts of money here will be lost. So we want to do better and improve this state of things.
Okay, still not so clear for me.
Sorry, I missed something.
Yeah.
You are saying that the final owner will be, let's say, an individual, I assume.
Yeah, in this first stage, but then after the product will become better known, it should be bought also by utilities
We can
companies.
just remain for the first stage the individual. I don't imagine my mother, I don't know, a 70 years old lady purchasing this project.
At 70 years old, I don't know.
Let's say, how can, let's say,
Yeah.
me, how can I purchase your product? I don't know, I have an app, I have something that is helping me in defining how much energy I consume and how can I effectively improve it. Have you thought about, I can may save it. Have you thought about which is the impact of the pricing versus, as example, the potential saving I might have? I know now the energy is quite expensive,
Yeah.
but I don't know in the future how this might impact and which would be effectively the potential cost.
So in theory, as a final client, if you use this kind of product, the cost of the invoice should be divided by 2 at least. With the sum paid for the invoice for the next month, because you have your actual behavior, and based on your actual behavior, you are forecasting what you could consume the next month, let's say. And this will increase your awareness and take better decision as far as the consumption is regarded. If you came to the conclusion that the cost of the next invoice will be too high, but you will be doing this not suffering at home, let's say, not suffering from reducing this consumption.
Make saving, but for in a standard month, it's something that I'm not able to imagine, but surely it is my limit on this. But maybe it's something that I would suggest to explain. Maybe you can add some sample on your presentation for the future. It might be
Of course.
Useful, and just a suggestion from my heart, but keep a slide as much simple as possible. They are quite strong slide, and maybe the people are, if they are not so familiar like me, because I am a tax guy, not I do not really understand how complex is your work. It may be quite different for me to follow and define effectively what may be my potential.
So the analysis up to now have been carried out only at national level, because there we had relevant data, and when we carried out this analysis at national level, we achieved economies or savings in money of this order of magnitude at power system level. So practically, if you have a correct forecasting, the energy is not wasted anymore. This is the basic idea. Now it's being wasted. At least 10% of what is being produced is being wasted, given the low accuracy of the forecasts that are being carried out with the current products available on the market. Thank you.
Hi. I have a question, couple of questions.
Yeah.
Maybe also technical. You say with a model, with one parameter, you can reach 90% precision.
Yeah.
Model
89.9, 90%. Yeah.
Which are these input? What is?
The historical consumption taken every 15 minutes, because this would be the standard, but we carried out tests also.
So let's say you measure historical consumption.
Yeah.
and then you are able to predict how much in the future.
Yeah, how much in the future, and it depends the time period used for the prediction. As long this becomes, the lesser accuracy of the prediction you will get. So practically, if you train your network using, let's say, 10 years of data, and you are making a prediction for the next day, this will have a much better accuracy compared to the case in which you will have the prediction for the next months, let's say.
Okay, so it means that for any customer, you need the historical data for that customer.
Exactly, yeah.
That may is not so practical, or maybe have you considered this point?
No, from this point of view, we don't have any problems. So our customers, our current customers, pay a monthly subscription to the IT platform which has been developed by this French company I was telling you about. And through this platform, we are taking their historical consumption in the last 2 to 10 years.
Okay, so even a customer, I mean, if you have a new customer, should register to that. It start to be accurate after a while because you need to
yeah, this is an interesting question. The answer is no. The network, the neural network, comes pre-trained, and practically in the moment when it achieves 90% or 95%, this will be the accuracy more or less, even for the new customers. They do not have to wait in order to train the network and achieve the same amount of accuracy.
Okay, and you asked for €500,000
for 1 year.
For 1 year, which is your plan to use this money?
So we want to expand also to other segments of the market, like, for example, the automotive industry or even the financial sector, because also on these markets we need accurate forecasts. And of course, the target is that to build my own company and to remain independent as long as I will be able to do it. Thank you.
Are there other questions? Yeah. Yes, sir.
Thank you for your presentation.
Thank you.
It was very interesting. I guess there is a scientific, a huge scientific work behind this. And well, I was wondering in terms of the practical tool that I'm going to buy as a final customer, because I saw that you were guessing 2 different markets, the B2B and B2C. Okay, I'm in front of a platform. I'm in front of an app or something like this.
Yeah.
Who do you think you can have as partners in setting up these products? I mean, who are the main partners you would need in order to set up the solution?
Yeah, so one category will be IT companies, and another power system engineers, if we are referring to the power engineering market. So these are the most 2 important categories I would have in mind at this point.
Other question? Okay. Thank you again, Valentin.
Thank you. Thank you.
So, last but not least, FIU, please come with your computer in this case. So you have to use the cursor.
Ready? So hello everyone, honor. Usually I tell that what I'm telling you now to construction companies in Germany. So it's the first time for me to pitch on stage in English. Hope you understand my hard German accent. So what is Oculi? Oculi is the automated process in progress tracking on shared construction sites by using crane cameras and artificial intelligence. Why are we doing this? Because there's a big problem in the construction industry. Because in the last 20 years we have only 1% growth, or there has been only 1% growth in productivity. Around a third of the time doesn't add value and is completely wasted. So it could be saved 1 trillion per year through digital solutions. But there's a challenge, because we have now directly feedback from the construction sites to the construction company, to the offices. Maybe you know that, or probably you know that from other industries. You have production lines equipped with sensors, and they give insights into the processes and about the quality, about the productivity. But of course, we don't have that opportunity to do that also in the construction site. We only have the opportunity to visit the site, take a look, and see the current status. But yeah, we don't have information behind the processes. So how long they took place. Does it work? Okay, how long they took place, how many working hours flowed into the processes, what time or what speed do we need to meet our goals, and the construction or the project managers doesn't have that information. So what we need is a flow of information from the construction site to the offices, to the construction company. And we have a relatively simple solution for that. We send out cameras, it's plug-and-play cameras, and they strap it on the crane of a neighboring building, and the camera sends a stream into the cloud, and there using various AI methods, and they get from the video material what or which processes took place. So not only what or where does that manufactured, also in which floor, in which construction phase, and how many working hours flowed into the processes. So for example, concreting, formwork, brickwork, yeah. So, and that's how that looks like in the web app I show you now. So there are different features, and I would like to go into a few more deeply. So we have here the target actual schedule. So it's the schedule, how the project site or the construction site is planned. We have the light green bars, that's how the construction processes are planned, and we have the dark green bars, that's how it's actually manufactured. So we have on one view, how is the progress? Do we have a delay? Where does the delay come from? And we get insights into the project, even if we are not on site or directly involved. Maybe the next feature, it's the automatically documentation. So on construction sites, we have to documentate, to write a construction diary, which includes, for example, the weather, the processes where we took place, and the pictures, for example. And that is what we automatically pre-fill. We have also a self-written construction diary, which can be supplemented by the notes, by special events, and by the number of people, for example. So, and last but not least, here we have the raw data, and here we go really into the detail. So on the left side, we have the components from the schedule, and on the right side, we have the individual components, the individual processes. So we get insights into the processes behind it, and how many working hours, for example, flowed into the processes, and how long time do we need to complete the whole process, like concreting, like formwork, like brickwork. And by storing the masses, we can generate the value efforts for the own processes. So not only for the whole project, also for the individual processes, and we can have a look how they develop over time. So projects can be compared with each other, and we can have a look how does the construction site goes well, what can we learn about it, and we can benchmark it for the calculation. So the calculation in the offices get also insights into the project, and we can compare it with the assumptions, and we can learn about it, how we can build in future better. So that doesn't works not only in the theory, also in practice. So we have already 50 projects from around 38 paying customers, including the 3 of the top 5 or big companies in Germany, Hochtief, Züblin, and Strabag, and the most are in Germany, but also we have projects in Denmark or in Switzerland. So, important question: what does that bring us? So, on the first side, it's the easily measured the time saving. So we have around 15% increasing the site management capacity for project managers and for the site managers. On the other side, we completely automate the documentation, what is particularly important for claims management and has already saved 5% of project costs. And of course, we talked already about that, the effort values, and then we can calculate better, we increase the productivity through benchmarking and monitoring, and so we can work in future more efficient and more productive. So yeah, that's it from my side, and thanks for your attention.
Thank you very much. Question?
Thank you for your presentation. Who are your competitors, and what's your competitive advantage?
Okay, I guess I would like to give our founders the stage for the questions, and maybe they want to explain the questions. I guess it's better.
Please use the microphone, please.
There's no really direct competition, so there are a couple of solutions that also apply static cameras and computer vision in the space, but they mostly focus on, let's say, lower level detection, so mostly towards safety, detecting PPE, so helmets and safety vests, or focusing on the logistics. But currently there's no solution that tracks the progress for shell construction, which we focus on, so the actual steel concreting and bricklaying of the construction side. There are some solutions that look inside, that take static and more detailed images of the site that are mostly used in the interior construction, but currently there's no direct competition for us in the shell construction phase.
So thank you for your presentation that, by the way, looks also very mature considering the website and the presentation you did. I have a question about the enabling technologies and the IP package that you have, because you provided evidence of the idea that is very, very nice in my opinion. Of the, let's say, high-level implementation, so the Gantt with the AI-enabled with cameras that you are developing, but not about, but I respect this because you may have something confidential behind, so please tell us what you can declare in public that is maybe non-confidential or already disclosed. So my question is, what is your intellectual property package that enables this implementation? Okay, so what are the routines, the software, which are the kind of architectures? Is this running in cloud, on-premise, on the edge? So can you further detail this? Thank you.
Sure, I would like to give it to our other founder.
Yeah, sure. So you can think of it, it's like a two-stage process. On the first stage, we detect the activity itself. So therefore, we leverage the fact that in shell construction, every time something's happening, there's people involved, so we leverage the people detections. And in the second stage, we then classify, once we know where and when something's happening, we classify this activity. We're not working on the edge. We're working purely in the cloud, and yeah, have this data processing pipeline that's producing results on a daily basis. No, it's mostly, yeah. Yeah, the main competitive advantage is the data we're collecting. So we're collecting our own data sets. We're mostly using open source algorithms. So the actual models, it's 2 models, deep learning models in that case. But yeah, the data sets are our main asset, essentially.
That's a very good question. I think this is also something that always faces us. And how we deal with it is that we designed the product in a way that we're by default GDPR compliant. So we collect the images from a high distance, so mounted on the cranes, which is a distance of 50 meters plus at all times. We're using wide angle cameras. So by default, there is not enough pixels for a face for the person to be detected. But of course, there are some instances where this could be possible, and then we also have measures in place to decrease quality and or have the people on site sign it. So privacy is one issue. It actually usually is more important of an issue that sometimes with in larger construction companies there's workers' council. They always are interested since it's video recordings on the job site. But with the same argumentation, we've been successful in going through Workers' Council with very large companies and small companies. So it hasn't been an issue for us. Also, most likely won't be in the future.
Other question? Carlo?
Sorry, can you just explain which is your commercial offer and your how you can attack the market in order to to market?
It's already on the market,
yes,
but how you intend to grow up in the market?
So the question is, what is the business model?
Which is your strategy of growth on this? So you have some, how you plan to offer this to potential buyer?
I don't understand, sorry, the question.
Which is your marketing strategy?
Okay, yeah, maybe it's also a question for...
Yeah, probably you have to go on the stage next time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Right now, since the industry is quite conservative and it's a new product and a new product line essentially, we're focusing a lot on direct sales. So we have a team, including Martin, who are contacting potential clients, scheduling demos, and mostly doing direct sales. We're already launching marketing campaigns, so in the future, and we're already seeing more and more inbound from our marketing things, so the presence in newspapers, etc., coming in. This will take over in the future and support the sales efforts. Yeah. So in general, let's maybe talk also about the revenue model. So we're supplying our service as a SaaS model with a monthly fee per camera. This is around 500 euros on average. On the other hand, we have costs at around 100-150 per camera. So a lucrative margin of 80% that we have. Yeah, and this is already in place. I mean, currently at around 250K ARR.
Okay, Virgilio.
Hi, very interesting products, let's say. Couple of questions. With this tool, you can see just what there is on the surface. I mean, you cannot control works inside building that you are constructing. Have you considered to add additional camera or additional sensor that can you help to monitor more, let's say, what happens also at the level maybe for installing implant and installing implants or whatever, inside building or whatever. That's the first. Yeah. That's the first. Second, comment. Maybe this system could be interesting also from a safety point of view. I mean, security, if you want. Maybe with the supervision you can check if there is some behavior that is not correct, or you can correct wrong behaviors of people, or something that is going wrong. You can monitor if there is some unlike event or whatever. Have you considered this point?
Okay, so the second question, maybe at first. So it's not possible to track, okay, are there persons on the, or wrong persons on the construction site, like thieves or something? So it's not a camera to force secure or something. That's not possible. So the first question was, again?
You can monitor also something inside the shell. Inside.
No, it's not possible because the camera cannot look inside.
Do you have any plan for that? Any expansion of the software or the?
I guess it's not possible. Maybe Tim, don't know, but I guess not.
Okay, probably you have to repeat, yeah.
Yeah, so right now it's not the focus of our product, so we're quite busy with what we're doing for the shell construction, which is essentially the first half of the construction site. Yeah, it's definitely a possibility that in the future we also look into the building. Right, as I said, right now it's not a focus. It's also then a completely different technology, and as Yannick already said, there's already a couple of competitors out there. But we definitely will not exclude that we are going to do that or not do that in the future.
Yeah, we can be very informal. It's not part of the jury, but in any case, if you have a question.
Oh, no, then I'll just ask him later. It's okay. Have you thought about expanding into prediction models? So, for example, if you can do inventory management or something like with your product like so, because you see in real time how a building is getting made and what next cement or bricks or what can be needed here.
Yeah, I mean, this is the main vision behind the product. So the first steps are collecting data, getting these data points, collecting metadata, and this is where we want to go. I mentioned on the first slide that we're building the autopilot for construction management, and this is essentially it with the predictions. So the major focus will be on simulating the construction flow based on parameters, based on real data specific to the type of building, specific to the company. We have this actual data, and we can predict a lot more accurate than is possible with book values as it is done right now, which also means predicting and rescheduling, doing the process, possibly also automating these workflows with communication with concreting suppliers and facade suppliers and all of these things. So this is exactly where we're planning to go in the future.
Last one.
Do you have a plan to scale up in the market and at a European level or worldwide? I think it could be very interesting, but I didn't hear about it. Thank you.
It was the first one. Yeah, yeah, the scale up. Yeah, what about the scale up? We have to next time, please go directly on the stage.
Yes, so we have some plans. So right now we're focusing on the DACH region, so Germany, Switzerland, Austria. And we already have some customers outside of that. So in Denmark, for example, not because we're focusing sales there, but because they came referred to us. But in the next years, we will tackle additional markets. Since we're very much focused on sales right now, this means creating a sales structure in these markets. Very high importance for us is France and the UK as the next steps, and then of course afterwards going global. So US market, Asia, and how? Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, we also recently did our seed round, so yeah, around 2.5 million that supports us in this, and how essentially also how we're tackling the German market. So we start up with a small sales structure, understanding the markets, understanding the different marketing channels. So how we're doing it in Germany is that we're insourcing a database that showcases all starting construction projects, so we can target very elaborately the people that have soon to start projects. And this is also the plan, so we are identifying these in other markets, so the lead sources, and then tackling these markets with on-premise teams. There's also a couple of international, very active companies that are also under contract with us. So JoTTO, for example, also leveraging these for market entries in other countries.
The legal entry, enterprise?
Okay, thank you very much. So now we have the coffee break, and the jury will remain here just to verify everything, and we'll probably can come back at 11:15. Okay? Thank you very much to all the speakers. See you later. Okay, thank you very much to the jury. It was a very interesting discussion. It was very, I mean, it was a championship. At the end was with the penalties. The result were reached by penalties, and it was very, very nice. So you will receive some report about that on different parameters, and it was very interesting and probably will be very useful also for you as a startupper. So I introduce Professor Capelli for the final.
Yes, so it seems that for the jury has been hard work. This is what they told me. So I want to say that I have seen very high quality ideas, amazing presentations. I'm very happy to be here and then to give you this prize. We start from the first place, so we decided to do it in the other way around. So the winner is EMPC. First place, yes. Here you are with that. Probably they want to have some pictures. Pasquale Antonio can come with us. Yeah, hope not to destroy before the time. If you are you have traveling by plane, you also have that to bring. They will like very much. This is a way of smiling. Telling stories is a way of smiling. So congratulations. So.
You want to say something?
Thank you to the jury for believing in our project. I'm super happy to have come to Luca and Owen with the results. And if you have also feedback, then I will greatly appreciate it. And hopefully your belief in us will help us to go further. So we'll see.
Yeah, thank you. And congratulations again. Second place, SNS. So congratulations. Let's have a picture.
Thank you. I'm really very happy because it's totally unexpected for me since I participated just in the last minute in this competition. It was very nice. And I want to congratulate the others because the presentations were really high quality. I was surprised.
Thank you.
Third, FAU.
I'm not a man of big words, just thanks. Grazie.
Okay, and then, no surprise, I call UPB. Yes, please come. And congratulations also to you. Be careful, it seems that this is a trick that they want to play with.
Yes. Grazie mille e aspetto il vostro feedback. Ok. Allora ci vediamo la prossima volta.
See you next time. So, thank you again to the jury for the discussion. You will see in the report that I suppose the feedback will be very useful. There are many parameters that was taken into account, and at the end it was quite hard to choose the best one, but was interesting. So thank you to the jury, thank you to the startuppers, and good luck for your ideas and innovation. So thank you to IMT for hosting us. Probably you have to say something.
Okay, yeah, this is my duty. Thanks, Pasquale Antonio, very much. Also for everything that you have been doing for this project, not only this competition. We are a bit of teamwork in the SNS, and then we try to do our best also in this. That is for Scuola Normale Superiore, which is an institution that is essentially focused on basic research. This is a great challenge, but I think that we are doing work, and let's say that we are doing amazing work. Why not? Then not only Pasquale Antonio, all the staff at Ufficio Ricerca and the Trasferimento Tecnologico, Ricerca Europea. We have here two people from the Ricerca Europea office. You have seen many people at organizing this day and also yesterday. Our Sant'Anna too, IMT for giving us the possibility of using this amazing place. This is a fantastic venue. They have been all very, very helpful. And also I want to thank Andrea Freccioni, the technician who is over there, and then I stayed there for 2 entire days. I recorded everything. So, and Ufficio Eventi and Comunicazione of the Scuola Normale Superiore for all the printed leaflets and everything, and then for sure all of you for being here. There is no event without you. And then, so I hope that you have enjoyed this event, and then see you again next time. So, thank you.
So now it's time for the lunch, and after that, that's it. So thank you again for everything, and have a nice lunch. Ciao.